can see me lying back in my satin dress, in a room where we do what we don't confess. Sundown, you better take care, or you'll find he'll be creeping round my back stairs. I've been looking like a queen in a sailor's dream, and I don't always say what I really mean. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better, when I'm feeling no pain. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better, when I'm feeling no pain. I can picture every move that a man could make. Getting lost in my loving was his first mistake. Sundown, you better take care, or you'll find he's been creeping round my back stairs. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning, when I'm losing again.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm sure
I don't think
Esperanza will be here. Oh,
are you up?
yeah. It says I'm on stage, so I think everyone sees me.
Oh, shit.
I figured you'd be there in a second. You just got to put the stuff away. By the way, amazing voice. I didn't know you play it. That's incredible.
I don't know if...
Oh,
I don't know
they're
if our...
saying they
Is
can't
our
see
talking...
me, so, but they can hear me.
They can hear you? Okay, I'm gonna shush you. Okay. Can you hear me? I guess they can probably hear me too. Okay. Howdy.
Hey there. How's it going?
Good. When I say 7 p.m., I'm like, I am not turning our faces on till 7 p.m. Oh, look, your color, that maroon coordinates with the couch.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got our
Nice.
our Christmas red going, right?
Yeah. Oh, let me see here really quick. Could you please tell people quick who you are for people who haven't been here before?
Yeah, I'm RAFFi DAHL. I go by Night's Light Astrology, and I specialize in, mundane astrology, which is really predictive astrology, and chart rectifications, which would be guessing people's birth times. And through that, you can get the house placement of people's charts, which will give you a much more in-depth reading. And I
Nice.
do I dabble in a little bit of tarot. I'm definitely learning a lot more from you. I watched your live you did yesterday, and that was just fantastic. I still have it fresh in my head, so we'll definitely talk about it and human design as well.
Awesome. Um, well, I'm Esperanza Tarot. I'm um, a tarot reader mainly, but I've been dabbling in astrology for about 30 years, and my curiosity continues with friends like you. So, like once again, you were recording some with Jesse, and I want to say that the last time that RAFFi was on Transformation Podcast, you could check that out on YouTube. I was so moved by Tyler's story of his ayahuasca experience. I really was. I really was. I think I cried,
Yeah.
but I mean, I cry about everything, but I also I also cried about that. And you had a happy Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah, fantastic Thanksgiving. Saw the niece and nephew, my sister-in-law, and then my nephew-in-law and his girlfriend. It was a packed apartment, as it were.
Oh,
But so
fun.
much fun. And it was like their first Thanksgiving where they were really like very cognizant of what was going on and everything. So they ate a bunch of food. They're like lifting up their shirts and like, whoa, my belly's so full. And I mean, this new generation, my niece is 2, my nephew's gonna be 3. I mean, they're both about to be 2 and 3, I should say. But it's so interesting like how fast this new generation is developing. Like they're both my nephew is talking in full sentences already. Just I'm having full conversations with him. My niece, like I can still, she's understanding what I'm saying things back to me, telling me to stop with certain things. I was like, oh, okay, little Miss Princess. But it was
Maybe I should
amazing,
put
very
this like
thankful.
this. I'm glad. I
And how
love
was
your
your Thanksgiving?
decoration. Oh, it was great. There was probably like about, I think 14 of us, a couple of turkeys. Everybody kind of cooked aside, so it wasn't too stressful or anything. And yeah, just beautiful time, played some games, ate too much, drank too much, yelled at the TV during football. And of course, I'm always like, wherever I'm at, I'm just gonna bust out a quick hits tarot reading, right? So I just like turned on the laptop for a little bit, did a little bit of tarot reading, and one of the people there, she's so amazing. She's actually got students in Irish dance, and she and her brother were like involved in river dance. You know what I mean?
Oh wow.
Yeah, like, and so like, yeah, she plays the Irish accordion. And so she was like playing the Irish accordion. Her mom can dance, her auntie can dance, she can dance, her brothers can dance. Like they could all
Oh
like, so
sweet.
my Irish blood was a pumping. Like
Sweet.
I was feeling it, feeling it. And then Saturday night of that weekend, like we all went to a bluegrass show because somebody's cousin was like playing mandolin in this bluegrass band, and that was lit AF. And
Oh my
so,
goodness, you're getting all your Irish blood out there.
well, give me a few ciders and I think I can do a jig. Although I'm like spilling the cider everywhere. I mean, it was fun. It was fun. I was wearing these
That's
like
great to
red
hear.
wedge like heels, and I just thought I was somebody. And then the next day I realized I'm not.
I
But
know,
yeah.
man. It's like after that Saturn return, you definitely feel the alcohol the next day if you've had too many.
It's been like 4 or 5 days and I'm still kind of like, wow, that was fun. That was good. But yeah, like leading up to this full moon, I've really like chilled out. Like Thanksgiving for me was like the Sag like woo woo, you know, and after leading up to this full moon today and from here on out, I don't know, like I'm feeling more in a sober mood. How are you?
Yeah, it's interesting because I didn't drink for 2 years, and then I
Yeah.
recently drank, and I've been like leading up to, I would say, to about like 4 days ago. I was even taking like mushrooms every night and stuff. So I've definitely, there's been
Every
this
night?
revisitation. Yeah, like every night I was just taking them and I was like
Like
seeing what came through.
the psychedelic ones?
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
talking about like cordyceps.
Well, 2 of the nights I had the chocolates, which are the cordyceps ones, and then
Oh
2 of the other
gosh.
nights I had the actual psilocybin.
Jeepers
So it was like kind of
Christ.
a mix between because I had the other chocolates left over, but it's that Pisces energy just kind of coming back and everything. Like that was when I stopped drinking was with Saturn and Pisces, you know. And then as it comes
Holy.
back in, I'm like, let me like revisit this and all this, and it was a great experience. Like a lot came through. It was I made it very ceremonial, so it was good to see. And my dreams, I've had the wildest dreams.
Everybody's been talking about their dreams, man.
How
Seriously.
about you?
Not as much as I hear coming from other people. Not at all. But I don't sleep that well in general. Like I just don't like sleep
Oh
that well.
yeah.
So like I dream maybe in the morning some that I can recall, but like mostly my dreams are not like wild scene dreams. My dreams are like fourth dimensional bullshit.
It's interesting. Great. Maybe that like mine qualifies as fourth dimensional, but I get parallel lives, dreams just where I'm a completely different person. I've been getting those a lot
Mm,
this year. I used to get those once or twice a year, but those have been ramping up for me. And then dreaming the future, which is my mom's dream gift, and she stopped dreaming the future
yeah.
after she had brain surgery. She doesn't dream anymore. It's
Oh,
like
at
kind of like I'm
all?
picking up the mantle. No, not at all. She hasn't had a single one since.
Oh man. I think we were
And
talking
she's
about this one time.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you had mentioned that that
And
was her gift the last episode. She's the Scorpio, right?
yep, double Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm just
yeah, with this like one dream I'll tell you about really quick though is I had one where we had moved into all the Aries energy that we're coming up on. And especially with that Saturn Neptune conjoining at 0 degrees on the world point, the world axis. And it was very interesting. Like things were a lot more violent. I was like a triple agent embedding myself into like this movement of radicals, and it was like I believed
right.
in what they were doing, but then I also like knew that that wasn't the solution because they were being violent. So it was just interesting, and I ended up they like I was in a meeting while they were like strapping bombs to people's chests, and they were saying they were going to go to this new AI data center that was being built, and they were going to blow it up. And we see all these AI centers coming in. It was fascinating. I'm not even sure if that's a future dream yet or not. Probably not because it was a bit intense, but it was interesting.
I'd say that that's the kind of dreams that I have, like where I'm fighting for my freaking life, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't consider that a dream. A dream is what I like to have. A dream is like another reality. A dream is like me floating through space and time and seeing colors and hearing music and
Yeah,
like floating out like a Piscean perspective, right? But like what you're describing is what I get. It's just like these scenes where I have to like live, but I'm living in a different dimension and it's like difficult. I'm glad I'm in this one. Honestly, I'm so glad I'm glad I'm here with you. Thanks for being here on this Gemini full moon.
oh
I just
yeah,
feel
there's no other
I feel like
Gemini
we're
I'd rather
having a
be with on
face
this moon.
I feel like we're having a FaceTime like conversation, and there's just like other people here. Once again, I am like, this is me. I'm sitting here trying to host this, and I'm like with the chat on the iPad here because I can't stop. My fingers won't let me. I have GEMiNi fingers,
Yeah.
but we do have a lot to discuss. And also Longo's going live at 8 p.m. Tonight. So
Oh,
I bet you a lot
cool.
of people are gonna be heading over there. He's gonna do Miami Vice Decoded. I think it's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
excellent. Ah!
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be running over there after this. So, but I wanted to talk about this upcoming, well, the moon that we just had. I think it fell like right around 5:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'd like to talk about, oh, let me take this fucking thing. Oh, sorry, not to swear, YouTube, but um and let me take this to, well, actually that's not covering anything. We can leave that. This moon that we just had, what are some of the things that you've noticed just come up in your personal life, or what are some of the things that you've noticed come up in the, even in the news cycle, that have been brought to your attention? Or do you want me to go first? Because like I've had a lot, and I'm sure you have too.
Yeah, maybe you go first, just in case I think of anything else. There's like a couple things I can think of now, but you might get me to think of a few more things.
Okay, well, I did delineate a little bit of this in my moon tarot video that I just posted a few days ago, a couple days ago. I usually just do the 10-card Celtic cross reading and feel into the cards a lot, but this time I actually threw up the chart and I was looking at it some, and the first thing I saw was a bow and arrow. Can you see that? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so like the bow is the brown part, and the string that you pull back is the green part, and then the arrow is shooting towards the north node. So I want to show you something really quick.
It's so incredible.
When
With
you
the
go
north
to
node at the
shoot,
tip.
I'll use my lip gloss as an example. When you go to shoot your bow, the bow is going to fit in like this notch in your hand. And then the nock where the arrow rests is going to be right up here, and you pull back. But this part of your hand here, that's Mars. You know, you
Oh,
have
yeah.
Jupiter and Saturn and the Sun and Mercury, but here we have Mars, and we have Venus somewhere here too. But this is Mars. This is where we're aiming towards. This is what our action's taking us to do, right? So I want to show that my action, my drive is in my north node in Pisces for everybody, right? My Mars is wilding over here by my sun, which is illuminating my process. That is the center axis, okay, of this bow and arrow situation. Back here in my south node, I'm pulling back. I'm pulling back. This is my south node, is where I'm pulling back. And that's basically the only time that we could shoot forward, I think, in this moon is at that point of release. And I feel like that point of release is probably going to come through when this moon comes back around and crosses over the south node. I think we're going to really be able to have that. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, and I would really agree with that too, because with as far as predictions go, that I was kind of running a little earlier off of the chart. I was kind of casting out the stuff from this moon out into like the next week or so. So like
Yeah,
with it, like intensifying as it crosses the south node, that makes perfect sense to me. And it's also ruled by Mercury too, right there, like down in the south
exactly.
node.
Yeah, Virgo. Yep, Virgo as well. Yeah. And so I think that there's going to be some sort of release of maybe release of data in Virgo there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a
Yeah,
release,
that's
you know.
That's what I
Um
was thinking too. And I really, one of the things I was telling my friend before I got on this, I did a quick read on her chart and everything but it just made me think of the energy in general there's almost like when you talk about the release, there's like this saying goodbye that's coming through to me. And without
yeah.
even talking about any planets, there's just that's just like the intuitive hit that I'm getting is this idea of saying goodbye.
Yeah,
And
for
it is
you
around information.
to release the arrow, you got to let it go. You got to say goodbye to it. You can't stand in that tension forever. I don't think that the release is necessarily on this full moon. I think things are coming to fullness, and I think that the tensions are getting stronger. But I do feel like, yeah, there's going to be a point of release up maybe tonight and into tomorrow. I do, I really do think that Uranus and Pluto are still playing. And
I'm so happy you brought that up. I was like, Uranus is still in the background, like doing stuff. Everyone's forgetting about it. And I
I
really think
also
with Uranus, it just ties in with, and we'll get into it, but like with my all of this that I'm coming up with the Sabian symbol and like the moon in general and everything that's coming through, it's tying in so well with my Uranus predictions too. It's this interesting play.
Speaking of Uranus predictions, something that I noticed in the zeitgeist, something that I noticed in the news was very Uranian kind of and actually Robert was talking about these data centers too the other day in his 15 minutes of flame. Robert Phoenix was that was a good show on Rumble. Um
Hmm.
but on the 27th there was one in Aurora, Illinois. And it was a Cyrus 1 data center that overheated and they didn't have enough water to like cool down the cooling system. And that
Yeah,
data center runs pretty much all of the indexes, commodities, and futures trading for the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, for the CME, the stock exchange in
yeah,
Chicago. So they were out until I want to say, I don't know, maybe like midday the next day or something like that. They were out for almost like a whole business day. So people who are trading in like Taiwan, Malaysia, they depend on these figures to day trade. And every bit of information that was going through there was delayed. This moon brought up issues like that to my attention. I'm all over the place, but this moon has brought me like a lot of information and a lot of just sort of vibes about data centers, water, the need to cool, things getting too hot, information getting stalled, information getting brought up. Also, like I shared with you, WD Gann. Okay, so over the weekend here, I met an investor, like a he's a stock, I think he's a stockbroker. Or he's a former stockbroker and now he's an investor. And he uses
okay,
that method. And I thought that that was so interesting that he was talking about that method in trading due to the astrology. And this person, this WD Gann, is also allegedly an astrologer with a like completely different name and gender. So this person is like two people. So basically, this moon has brought me information about, you know, stocks, trading, traders that use their intuition, but also that use astrology very precisely. Cause he was like showing me like 6 different screens in his office that had like charts up with precise calculations at the 45s. Like every
Wow.
time, yeah, and also the cycles of the north node and south node are
That
huge.
makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense
Yeah,
because I've always said like there's a huge lunar aspect to it with the ways that I've traded and everything. Like I'm always watching the moon. Like
I
and
mean,
there is like a certain amount of mundane astrology that goes into it, but it's like the moon is so temperamental and it's the currents, you know, the currency, that kind of thing.
and apparently it's on the new moon that things really get lit. People think about the full moon as things coming to culmination, but I guess in terms of like trading and especially like with options and indices, I think, or indexes or whatever they call it. I guess that the WD Gann method really leans upon like new moon cycles as far
Oh
as
yeah.
like refresh, refresh, refresh. Um, I don't
I'm
know.
happy to
It's
hear about it from you for the first time because I thought I would have time before we got on to check out WD Gam, but I didn't. But it's tying in really well with the way I learned how to do financial astrology and everything. With because yeah, like we consider the full moon to be like those dump periods, or even like leading up to the full moon. It all depends on what it's aspecting and you know like when. But you know like for the most part, like up to the full moon, like that's where you see it starts to dump, and then you see people like you see it going up, like going into the new moon as it's like waning and yeah.
yeah. So this episode, like, I guess all of that is what the moon has brought up for me, and that's all like kind of stuff that I want to discuss or see if anybody else is interested in discussing. I am curious to look at your chart a little bit further because, like last episode, if you guys were here, last episode, RAFFi really ran down my natal chart so you guys could get to know me a little bit better, or rather, so you guys could see me naked on television. And now it's your turn. And I was gonna see well what particular factors sticking on this new moon and sticking on these themes, what particular factors really blast out to you and blare out to you about this did I say new moon? I meant full moon. This full moon in Gemini at 13 degrees. What else sticks out to you? The number 13 for sure is heavy here.
Yeah, I was actually
Um,
born on the 13th. That's a it's a powerful number for me for sure. And but as far as just like themes and everything, I mean, very much information based. When I was talking with Jesse earlier, we spent a long time, and we talk like a lot of geopolitics. We spent a long time talking about the Somalia stuff going on in Minnesota because I'm from
yeah,
Minnesota. That's just
yeah.
been a thing that's really been coming up, and I think you remember in Robert's chat a few days back, I was saying, you know, I'm from Minnesota, and the Somalians were like part of the reason that I left, and back then I was a liberal, you know, and so it's like all of this stuff that has just been brushed under the rug in terms of the information around all of that is really like you feel it's like the bow that you're showing, you know, you feel that pull back and where it's really starting, like the tension is there, like what's going to
Mm-hmm.
come up around it. And yeah, really tension around energy, of course, like you said, the delays around or tension around energy, tension around information, excuse me, and then the delays around information like you were talking about too. In my personal life, it's in my 10th house, so there's definitely been
Yeah.
more publicity I'm like observing with myself, and then also with career stuff. I'm dealing with you know, I'm starting to work at the election office, and that's ramping up going into all the way up until we have the new moon in Gemini next year. It's going to be where I'm doing like a lot of working with the election office as well. So there's like that career aspect I'm getting hit with, and then other like things at home too. My fourth house would be Sagittarius, so things going on at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah. I I was seeing how Uranus is pretty close to your sun here. Um,
Yeah.
and also with your sun opposing Pluto natally too. And then Mercury, Mercury over here pulling stuff up. I mean, for you on a personal level, I think this is really empowering. Um,
Oh yeah.
especially like with Gemini on like what is this full moon is exact at 13 degrees and 4 minutes, right? And you're part of fortune and your south node. Speaking of release, like that's where you gain your growth. That's where you gain your good luck, is through elements of release, through elements that come quickly and easily and are easily integrated and let go when necessary. Like
Oh yeah.
you do well when you can flush. You do well when you can. And I think with the south node just right around your ascendant, though, south node in your first house in Virgo here, and we're pulling back. I think you personally pulling back towards issues of like, or maybe even like letting go of any issues that we have with our own bodies or with our own physique or with our own self, like letting go of issues that we have with food, letting go of issues
Yeah.
that we have with, just like our own physicality. Um,
Yeah.
maybe letting
Yeah.
some of
And
those issues go.
I
And then,
totally feel that because it's because I'm in very good shape and everything, and I can be a little too hard on myself about if I like gain like a simple 2 pounds or something like that
yeah.
of like fat or something. But I have to gain fat in order to gain muscle, and I am trying to gain more muscle, and it really just not like letting myself talk badly about myself and have this negative self-talk around my image has been like a huge thing for me. And it can be useful sometimes to have negative self-talk about my image. Like it pushes me to like work out all the time and like do, but I need to just know that it's like kind of these waves of, like I'll gain a little and then I can lose it. And I like know how my body works. I know what to take in. That's totally it.
Yeah, I feel like as you pull that arrow back towards the south node in Virgo, as you pull that arrow back, I think once you release those needs of the hypercriticism aspect of Virgo and maybe lean into the more like service oriented side of Virgo instead, maybe that energy that's able to just really discern and be, maybe you could put that energy into your new job, like you're saying at the elections office. That's a great place to be precise. That's a great
Oh
place to be like really rigid with information, and that's a great place to be hard and service oriented, but at the same time very clean. You know what I mean? Keeping your hands clean, keeping your hands clean. And I feel like maybe that'll be the release to where that could help your relationships, because where we're holding the bow, Saturn is supporting, we have our Jupiter finger here, but we have Saturn too. Saturn is supporting this arrow that's on the neck, So Saturn and
oh,
Neptune
perfect.
there are pretty much supporting that arrow to shoot through your seventh house. So it's at least giving some stability and some structure to where that release could lead you. So maybe after you release some of the self-criticism, and maybe you could reinvest that energy into the new third house matters, the communication matters that are getting lit up here with Mercury. Venus is in your third, and then moving into the third, fourth house axis there. I feel
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
yeah, I feel like that's going to light up your part of fortune too.
Yeah, and that's like what I'm really feeling with just starting the work here is like starting it again this year. A lot of people left the election office, and the energy is just, I notice it's very stale. And like even just on the training day I recently had, like kind of ending up being the center of attention without even trying, just with how precise I am with things, with the training and all that, helping the trainers out with the training and the technology we were using, the new systems and everything. definitely
Yeah.
like resonates with all of that you're talking about for sure. And I watch
Does
Saturn really closely because you were talking about Saturn. My Saturn is a +8, so I'm always watching what Saturn does. So I like how you tie that in with the bow analogy.
yeah. And he's really close to your well, he's what, within 7 degrees of your black moon Lilith. So yeah,
Hmm.
no fears if you feel wobbly shooting towards higher ideals um in your relationships, you know, with your seventh house. I just feel like the more I feel like Saturn and Neptune are gonna bring I a real perspective to our ideals in terms of how we view our relationships. Especially in your chart here with the seventh house being lit there. I feel like
Hmm.
your sixth house is naturally super lit. Um, and I see that we're going to be moving into that energy for you. Well, I think that that's going to be really interesting come February, you know. Is it Neptune going direct January 29th or so, end of January, and Saturn's going direct like what, February, mid-February? So once those
That
two start
sounds
to go
right. Yeah.
direct, yeah, once those
I
two
think
start to
Saturn
go
would
direct,
be a little, or Neptune, you mean? Or yeah. Sorry. Keep going.
both.
Yeah,
I
because
think that when they
Saturn went direct, started going direct on Thanksgiving here.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's when he enters Aries.
Yeah, and I have the date down as like late in the day, February 13th would be
13th
when
of
they both
February.
conjoin at 0 degree Aries.
Mm, okay.
I think it'll be the 14th in some parts of the world, but the 13th
Oh,
for us, pretty late in
Valentine's
the day.
Day. Well, lucky you. I'm Valentine's Day. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
That's
gonna be
interesting.
interesting. I've had
Yeah,
these
because
like relationships revisit me, and I'm like, wow, like I put up with that for so long. I've had that kind of happen as we hit this retrograde, and I'm just like, whoa, okay, like I've grown a lot, and I
yeah,
feel like it's kind of
relationships from the have you had like people from your hometown coming up or any well, there's obviously been a lot of news from your hometown coming up. I'm seeing that Vesta lighting up between your fourth and fifth. And so the, you know, I don't know what kind of people that's going to bring into your life or even right into your living room.
right.
You know,
It's been
like how we
like
are right
hometown
now.
stuff, a lot of like
Mm.
hometown people and stuff reaching back out, reconnecting and all that. It really heated up during the Mercury retrograde. That was like really when most of the reaching out was happening, like probably 70% of it. And then even with an old like intimate relationship, reaching back out where the person had just stopped talking to me. And I was like,
Mm.
okay, well, I guess. And then now they're like reaching back out, and it's just like, oh, so you like really haven't changed at all, have you? Like I've changed all these different ways in the last year, and everything I'm asking you about your life, it's exactly the same. That's like wild. So, and there is kind of this release around that, going into the moon stuff that we're talking about and all that. There's this new realization that I have with it where it feels a lot lighter, and I can really just release that and just be like, wow, I guess it'll always be like that.
I really feel like once the moon crosses over um the south node in Virgo, that's going to really help you release that self-image stuff, but also the moon right now, probably as we speak, because I don't have this chart's ran for like your time of birth, which is what, like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So right now, like the moon, the moon has just crossed over your part of fortune and south node. So I don't know, like maybe that was that podcast that you just did. Like
Oh
there
yeah.
could be like a really graduate sort of release energy for you coming through, or a feeling of like maybe good fortune, or maybe I just love how your good fortune is coming with these releases. And I just feel like with Mercury sort of going deep with the scorpionic aspect of the way that you've been communicating lately. Like that podcast that I saw you on, that was like very deep, very scorpionic. Like he went there. Like he talked about like touching his own butthole. Like he he went there.
Yeah.
And this
As
is
a
like a
straight man,
family.
yeah.
This is like a family guy. This is like a married guy with like what, 4 kids does he have or
Yeah,
something?
3, I think. I think it was 3.
It's
Might have
cute
been
as a
4.
button. All of you guys were just cute as buttons, by the way. Um,
Thanks.
but I can't believe like how this, with the Mercury running through your third right there, right on top of your Pluto doing scorpionic plutonic things in your world right now, in your surrounding. And then yeah, so I just feel like this full moon for you personally, I think that the fortune comes with the release. And I think that that's something that you're an expert at, looking at your 10th house there. I mean, it should be easy for you to I think it might be harder for you to pull towards the Sag fire. I think it might be
Yeah.
harder, yeah. Like it's probably easier for you to be cutting and or not even cutting, but just like cold or I see marble, I see stone, I see stone cold.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is the
And it really
opposite.
ties in with that like moon placement with my Saturn too. Like I even made a
Yeah.
joke with our last live stream, like moon conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. Like I promise I'm not a sociopath anymore. But really I was emotionally shut down for such a long time. And I still
Yeah.
like retain this emotional, like robotic kind of vibe.
Yeah. I think the Mars heating up in your fourth. I mean, I don't know, you just might be really active at home, really. You might be able to get a lot done. You might be able
Oh yeah.
to go through a lot of stuff and get rid of things if you want to. I see you already have your decorations up. That's you're
Yeah.
leaning into Sag right there. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that, yeah.
And just
Uh
addressing things like at home too. Like I live with my mom, so addressing boundaries, especially like as Mercury is still like in this little like the ass end of of Scorpio there, excuse my language, but just kind of like re-going over things I went over with the retrograde, new boundaries, new ways in which I need like a lot of freedom too, and just like a lot of space and all that. It's because I need to be getting in a flow state as an astrologer to really like bring things through. And if I'm taking care of someone, like I there just has to be some kind of boundary. So that was kind of what I established with my mom.
yeah.
And she's amazing. And she, double Scorpio, super intense in the best way though, like just a great mom, so loving and all that. But just sometimes it's like, okay, I gotta focus on some things, mom.
That's always going to be a balance for anybody that's in relationships, especially relationships where we're living together, you know. And yeah, like your fourth house is lit, I mean, that's where the candle is shining. But yeah, with the North Node, that's a little bit tougher because you gotta
Yeah,
you
it's like
gotta
these
pull
different
towards.
energies.
Yeah, you got to pull towards the warmth a little bit more. You're aiming for the warmth a little bit more this lifetime. You're aiming for the warmth a little bit more this lifetime. And
Oh yeah.
you don't have to be afraid of like taking that candle and knocking it over. You know what I mean? It's not going to light the house up. You can have a candle, you can care for your candle, you can stay lit, and you can stay contained even within your own household, and especially within your own household, I think. I think this
Oh
moon
yeah.
might really bring that up there because it's not only bending the nodes of fate, but it is involved with your nodes of fate. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's
And
it's all, yeah. I
that
think
grand
that's
cross with the nodes of fate too. I like how you made it into a bow because I just know it as like the grand cross aspect. But I mean that's
mhm.
just some interesting play. We'll get into that, I suppose. But
Well, that's yeah, that's basically all I was thinking about is that, like, for whoever wants to look at this chart and see where you have 13 degrees of Sagittarius, 13 degrees of Gemini, 13 degrees of Pisces, or 13 degrees of Virgo, if anybody has their chart up at home and you want to see what points are making aspects, the way that I'm kind of seeing this right now is that we're pulling back on the Virgo aspects. That's going to be a point of release for us. So there might be an abrupt letting go that could be more of a tower moment if we don't get ahead of it and release and do the, like even like a ritual, like even just saying out loud, like for me personally, this is right on my Mars and Virgo. Oh no. So I'm pulling back. I'm pulling back on my need to be hyper focused, hyper critical, hyper cutting. I'm pulling back. I'm cutting out what needs to be cut, but I'm not throwing out the baby with the bathwater during this full moon.
Oh yeah.
Um, this full moon is highlighting, my need to cut out certain habits and behaviors in my communications with my neighbors, my siblings, the people closest to me, the way that I present myself, I
Yeah, and like
suppose.
I would even say things like identifying things that in essence dim your light,
Mm,
and like making sure like those are cutting, those behaviors are cut out and all that. Because with that, like, the moon isn't on top of it or whatever, but they're both luminaries, so I would consider that to be within orb. And
yeah.
and definitely there's like kind of that eclipsing energy of it. It's like identifying what's actually coming through, what causes me to like dim myself for other people.
Right. And yeah, because that is close to my yeah, yeah. And also the moon, the moon is pretty close to my sun. It's not off by too far. And yeah, that really is highlighting the aspects. I think for me this is really highlighting, my day-to-day habits and behaviors that lead to 12th house matters. You know what I mean? Because I'm a
Oh
sun
yeah.
12 star. And then the moon
Yeah.
is in my 12th, highlighting, like I said before, like this full moon, I haven't even been in the mood to have a PBR really. Like it's 12th, it's highlighting like maybe where I need better boundaries, where I need that Saturn boundary within my addictions, within my Piscean behaviors. Um, but also it's highlighting, how I actually really feel about things sometimes. And that's been really interesting. I feel a lot happier and more chill than I realized, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I I'm noticing that like my natural state of being is not as anxious as I thought. Maybe I was just like drinking and smoking so much or what have you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And
Like,
it was like the same thing with me when I decided to stop drinking for such a long time. Like it started as like I'm gonna like cut back for a little bit, and then I was enjoying it so much because all of my 20s, like I just like drank and smoked like not drank every day. That was only during COVID, but like it started to ramp up, and I was telling myself it was because I was anxious, and so like I would keep doing it, but then it just became like a problem for me. And I'm not saying you're like anywhere near where I was at or anything, but
it's enough
but
to notice. I mean, it's
yeah,
enough to
exactly.
notice that I have a lot less anxiety, like not, but I guess it just, also depends on just my mood, my cycle, like where I am moon wise, what I feel like
Yeah.
doing today. If I feel like having a beer, I have a beer, you know? But I really haven't felt like doing anything very altering at all lately. This moon is a little bit full for me, really. Like I already feel pretty full. Like I don't feel like I can even fit a beer in my system at all. I also haven't
Yeah,
been
yeah.
eating as much as I like. I go through like phases to where like I feel like eating a lot, but then also not. I feel like this moon is ripe for like ceremonial magic, and I feel like this moon is ripe for, you know, because Mercury here, let me put the moon chart back up. Um, oh, that's you. This I want to focus on Mercury for a second, still in Scorpio here. This Jupiter Mercury trine, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't love it because Jupiter is amplifying, encouraging, elbowing, nudging, giving his uncle money to Mercury's uh investigative journey or whatever Mercury is going to go surgically, you know, go in and remove and put on blast. It's kind of on the down low, I guess, with the Scorpio, but I mean, pretty soon Mercury is going to be in Sagittarius, like blaring everything that he dug up during
Yeah,
this time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I don't really love that trine. I don't really love that water trine. That water trine is bringing problems. It's bringing issues to water topics, I guess, for me. And or
yeah,
as far as I can see. For me on a personal level, um I don't mind Mercury in Scorpio at all. I think it's pretty cool because it's in my fifth house and it empowers me to like sort of well, it also, you know what I mean? It also gives me a big mouth about things that maybe I should keep my mouth shut about, you know? I don't
oh
know.
yeah. Well, that's kind of what I like about Mercury and Scorpio is it's like at least I'm getting the truth is coming out. It may not be in a healthy way, especially with this like trying to Jupiter and stuff, but at least like the truth is coming out in a good way. And I'm seeing like the way it's hitting with a lot of people with Jupiter being in Cancer is, you know, like that partner that they live with, like all of a sudden they're seeing their true colors. It's just like everyone. And then people I'm reconnecting with, we're talking about the reconnecting. It's like the impetus for them reconnecting is because like, oh, like, hey, you were actually right about like this person. And it's like, so it's been like I haven't necessarily been a fan of it, but it's been hitting me pretty decently well, you know?
Yeah.
And
I
I just prefer like I don't like all the way people flower up things and just like want them to look very pretty. Like I get it. Like I'm a Taurus. Like don't get me wrong, I get it. Like how like manicuring things and all that, but just like it's like if you're creating all these issues in your life from doing that, like clearly that's got to go. The lies just got to go, and that's really what I'm seeing. And I'm thinking like we're really peaking on that with this Gemini new moon with the release of it and all.
yeah, the it's
Our
full.
full moon,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah, no, but I mean we're full. We're full. And like I said, like I think that your the release is going to be coming with the moon coming around again to conjunct the south node, like we had already mentioned. Do you have any information on the degree of this moon and Sabian symbol lore? Because I'm trying to learn
Yeah,
more about the Sabian symbols, and people have been sending me awesome resources. Thank you, Janine. By the way, I haven't had a chance to look yet, but thank you. And I want to learn more about what that is and what your take is. So if you want to share your screen, I think you can, but or
yeah.
just talk over whatever you want.
We'll just do my entire screen because I'll probably switch between a couple things.
Okay.
All right. All right. No, I like kind of there we go. All right. So I pulled up two symbols because like we just moved over into the 14th degree. I believe I saw we had just moved into the 14th degree. So with the Sabian symbols, you always add 1 degree because 0 degrees is like is 1 as the Sabian
Okay.
symbol. So I'm
Okay.
kind of looking at the 13th degree here, and then which is Gemini 14, and then I'll look at the 14th degree, which we're in right now, which is Gemini 15, and just kind of like, well, really, like, even though it's this is the main one right here that we're looking at for the energy behind this, like lasting out a week, but I'll still kind of just add in that other degree for a little bit of fun. I did like that. But what we've got here is 2 people at widely different points are in conversation with each other by means of telepathy. I like
Ooh.
that. This
I.
symbol speaks of, excuse me, this symbol speaks of psychic and clairvoyant communication with others and the ability to be able to pick up on what others are thinking. You can communicate with someone, and it is not always necessary to be physically face to face or on the phone or emailing them or the like. You can have bonds with people that are unaffected by distance or actually being in touch with each other. Perhaps your heart is telling you that you are always in their company and there is no need to feel alone. Keeping others in your mind and heart will communicate something to them, and probably they back to you.
Ooh.
Conquering space and time limitations, psychic and mental communication, sharing ideas, the other person knowing what is felt or thought, being on the same frequency, 5D communication. Blocking out psychic awareness because of fear, manipulating others by subtle means, mind and thought control, feeling very separated by time and space. And I just thought that was interesting. I'll actually
That is
pull up
literally
here
what
just
we're
the
doing
chart.
right now.
It's incredible, yeah, and it just ties in so well with the chart and everything going on too. And really, with that, I wanted to say real quick before I forget, it ties in so well with my Uranus prediction as well. And I'll pull it up in a moment, but it was like 2 cobblers like working together side by side, and
Yes.
it's just it's kind of tying in with I thought of it as, because it's in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, and the
Yup.
higher octave of Mercury is Uranus. There is this play between them that we're getting in this kind of Uranian backdrop of the moon right
Yup.
now. And really, we already kind of talked about the Grand Cross and everything right here, and like I loved that you added the bow thing, especially with the Sun and Sagittarius. I just think that's so incredible. Like that's just amazing. I love that.
Yeah,
But
that's what
then
I
also,
saw.
I was really looking at when I was monkeying around with this. I'm going to actually jump ahead to it just to kind of piggyback off of this, because there's this interesting aspect. Let me go to days, and it's at some point tomorrow. I'll have to go back a couple hours
Okay.
because there's like this one cool aspect, and it was like right here, I think. Almost, where are we at? There's a finger of God aspect I'm looking at right here. If you look at the moon right here, Chiron and Mercury, and then there's the sextile between, and you've got these inconjuncts going up. That's the finger of God aspect right there. And that was just like real. I don't know why, but I just felt this pull to it. And then the more I thought about it with the Sabian symbols, it kind of really made sense. And it speaks to like this releasing. And then
Are you
mind you, we have 3
sure?
eye. Oh yeah. Oh, can you see it or no?
Uh-uh. I
Let
guess
me
I have to remove what I'm sorry. I'm still new at these
let me just make sure when I pull it up it shows. You see that
Okay.
right there?
Ready? Yep.
Okay, so you can see the chart?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. Okay. Yeah, but so yeah, we've got Chiron here, the moon, both in inconjunct to Mercury right there, and then a sextile between. And that's that finger of God right there. And it literally speaks to this Sabian symbol that we're talking about right now, because if you just think
Yeah.
of all those energies put together, that really just makes a lot of sense. And it's like something around this releasing is like bringing us to this next level in our personal relationships, whether it's our friendships, because like Gemini is going to be the friendships and everything like that, but just and then even within ourselves too, with that whole Chiron Aries and all that. And we all know, like, when it comes to developing these abilities and being more intuitive, like there is about having the relationship with yourself, having those boundaries like we were talking about. And then, I mean, this is literally all those energies put together. The self, which is Aries, Scorpio has the boundaries, and then, like, you know, the relationships like with other people, more the communication aspect, but then there is that telepathy thing there. And then that even kind of ties a little into Mercury and like the deepness to it, the occult nature, like all of that. You know, there's that, we all know how intuitive Scorpio risings are, you know, or Scorpios just in
I
general.
know. And I'm sort of, maybe I'm just feeling like emo or something like that, but this moon, I'm really like leaning into the darker side of Scorpio and the darker side of Mercury. I think I mentioned quite a few times during my moon video that I keep on being reminded about the fact that Mercury is a psychopomp. Mercury ferries the dead across the river Styx. You know, Mercury, that's part of Mercury's job, and especially in Scorpio, that's becoming like really apparent to me. And the telepathy aspect that you've been talking about is really, like, the way that you use that word is so poignant to what I've been noticing, because I feel like telepathy is great and all when it's used in a robust, healthy way. But people also use telepathy, and entities also use telepathy, and ETs, or whatever you want to call it. Like, telepathy can be used in all kinds of ways. And I think that, like, what you're describing and this release aspect will really separate, you know, the men from the boys, so to speak, in terms of who can be psychically manipulated and who cannot.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's like I do remember I was saying you know, the three eye atlas in the background of all this, and I've always maintained with the atlas that there is some part of it that's like bringing new spiritual like upgrades online, if you want to say, like bring delving us deeper into ourselves, like giving us access to like a deeper both introspection and intuitiveness. Yeah, okay. But that's like really where I've thought with it, and I feel like that ties in just super well with that.
Agreed.
And
Um,
oh, sorry.
oh no, I was going to maybe move on to another topic besides the full moon, because pretty much everybody, I think, can see where this is coming through in our charts and within their own charts. I want to ask the people in the chat if anybody in specific has something to say about this full moon in Gemini. How has it been coming through in anybody's life? I'm going to ask it here. How has the full moon shown in your life? How has this full moon shown in your life? And like I had said, shown up in y'all's lives. The
Oh, and while you're waiting for to anyone to answer or anything, I wanted to say you brought up Pluto with the ferryman, and one
yes.
thing that I've been delving into lately is actually how Pluto and Chiron, it's called, not Chiron, but Chiron. It might be
Mm-hmm.
pronounced Karen. I'm not sure. Like how they orbit each other in this weird way, and that like has to do with why they ended up like making Pluto a dwarf planet. There's a special word for it. It's like gyro something orbit. I forget
Okay.
exactly what it's called, but that aspect, Chiron of it, is the actual ferryman
Ah,
of the Pluto
interesting.
part. And I just thought that would like be really interesting to add because it just even adds that like deeper layer to it and like why Pluto is the way it is.
I've been finding a lot of symbols and synchronicities that this moon has been bringing me. Jackie Fox says that today she felt like she was in motion, but everything around her was not. She was like still. or everything was motionless, but she's in motion. But everything else is that's an interesting. Today I felt like I was in motion, but everything around me was not. Very still and motionless. That's so strange. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot afoot of basically takeovers, like energetic takeovers where people, places, and things are just like not animated by themselves right now or in and of themselves right now. Like I've been witnessing it with public figures. It's almost like some other voice is talking through them, or they're so zoned out, or they're so tired, or people aren't getting their rest and they're not there. They're not all the way there. I think
Yeah.
that I saw a meme one time that said a calm nervous system is the biggest flex. Like the most that you can stay grounded during these times is like the biggest flex, because that leaves you with like you were talking about before, the boundary that Mars, like use Mars to your advantage and get active and erect those psychic boundaries, because you can see people getting, I don't know,
Yeah,
getting
well, just like you're saying, it's kind of like
energized.
almost like a possession energy versus like, and I think this ties into all the work that's been being done in closing out all this Pisces energy too.
As
Like
well.
because like if people haven't like dealt with their shadow side, that's where you're seeing like this weird like suicidal ideation, possession energy, and one of the words, this is the word I'm literally going to use to describe 2025 is liminal. And it's this word that just keeps coming up for me. I keep getting synchronicities with it. It's not even a very commonly used word, but I keep on seeing it. And it really just describes like how time has been wonky this year. And so I
Yes.
totally agree with like this like motionless feeling behind all this.
Yeah.
Like even though you're doing a lot and everything, it just feels very still and all that. But like it's like time is going really fast at times, then it's really slow this year. I look back to
Right.
the beginning of the year, it feels like it was 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And people across age ranges are feeling the same way. So it's not just a product of me getting older, you know?
Yeah, and like time's moving differently for different entities and people too. Like Jackie was describing, Josie says that she felt like a hummingbird. Um, Dead Wolf couldn't see anything on his long drive today, so he wouldn't know, but he says stay off the sidewalk. He might be rolling towards you. Janine says, hi, Janine. Janine says that the Grand Cross has brought endings that are permanent with the beginnings. Yeah, that release. And then immediately other relationships being able to bloom and blossom more, or that vertex bringing more faded, encounters into our life. The, you know, I love my stuff. I love my baggage. I love my junk, and I love my trunk. But I can't get anything new unless there's space for it. So there's that.
Yeah, that
Um,
was the thing I really had to realize just this year in general is like I can hold on to things like so well. And it's such a funny dynamic because of what you were talking about with my South Node and part of fortune. Like I'm so good at holding on to things, but then like when I finally release them and let them go, it's like all these beautiful things come in, you know?
yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. I'm a Cancer rising, so obviously, like I like to clamp and claw and
Yeah.
not like release at all. So this full moon in Gemini brought me more interest in like I say, like financial astrology. I don't know if you have any crypto updates or anything that you've been doing recently. I did notice that soybeans were up by like 7 points after our show last
Oh
time
my
we were
gosh,
talking.
that's incredible.
Yeah, soy oil was up, soybeans were up. Let's see, I might be able to share my screen, I'm not sure. But also I wanted to say something just really quick about WD Gann, who was brought into my life from an investor, which it's not like I hang out with people who are like traders, investors. I hang out with more like farmers, bluegrass, but it just so
Yeah.
happens that he was related to somebody in the bluegrass band and blah blah blah. So anyway, as these interests get sparked off and Mercury and the Gemini energy makes you be like bird, squirrel, butterfly, and but I just wanted to really point out at the top of this price and time chart, this is called the square of nines, and this is a method that he uses to find times to buy and sell. But look at that logo on the top. That looks like our moon chart
Yeah,
with
that's
the
literally,
square.
wow,
Yeah,
with the grand trine that we have going.
exactly. I just wanted to point that out really quick, that I thought that it was odd that this person brought this to my attention. He was like, you should really look about how to invest like this and like whatever, or that I'm kind of intuitively leaning towards that. And then I looked this up, and then it had like basically like the symbol of our new moon, or of our full moon chart. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I just wanted to
Yeah,
like
no,
do
I
the
love
Gemini
that.
thing and
That's,
be like
I can't
ADD and
wait to
pop back
like,
to that.
you'll have to send that to me. I can't wait to like really look at that and pick that apart. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's wow. I
I
love,
guess
I mean,
that,
it's just so much data, so I just love it. Like, oh.
well, and he's a Gemini. The guy that invented this form of investing strategy is also a Gemini, which I think it's interesting that got brought to me during a Gemini full moon too. And his birthday is like
Oh
3 days before mine. And he died on my mom's birthday, actually. Um, So I just thought that was all just sort of interesting information that the full moon kind of brought up in my personal life. I um maybe I should put the moon chart back up again, or did you have something you were talking
Oh yeah, I
about this?
can. Well, you can keep that up for now, and then I'll talk about the markets real quick. Then I could maybe double back to the that other Sabian symbol,
Yeah,
and like a couple other things with the chart maybe.
yeah,
But just in terms of the general energy, it's kind of what I've thought and all that. That I think we get one more big pump, probably like an interest rate cut coming into December. It just, to me, it wouldn't make sense that they wouldn't do it, the interest rate cut, both looking at the astrology of it and the things that we have coming up, like that kind of makes sense. The interest rate cut, people are going to feel like all of this Sagittarian energy coming on very soon. That's really what I'm feeling right now. Like essentially like feeling adventurous to invest in new things and all that. And we just like had all of these Scorpio energies kind of transmute, which does rule investments. I think it'll get people ready to invest and all that. And now like Leo is more of like the speculative energy, but part of that does come from the fire. And you can like really like in Sagittarius kind of see where that carries over. But I wouldn't
yeah,
say it's great speculation. It's more just feeling free to invest. And I think a lot of people who will invest aren't going to know when to pull out of the markets because they're already overvalued. Like where we're at right now with with XRP there, Jackie. Uh,
yeah.
I think
Thank
we
you.
get
I
like
was just
another,
gonna thank you.
yeah, like because my price point for XRP has always been like about using technical analysis, and then of course bringing in a little astrology and how it can work leading up to like the middle of next year. Because at that point, I think the astrology is set up like really it's kind of not even the middle of next year, it's more like March, to where like there kind of needs to be that reset that gets into the Saturn and Neptune coming in, and like what new financial systems are coming in, what they've set up behind the scenes and all that. But I feel like XRP $5 to $7 is really that sweet spot that we're looking at, somewhere in there, because that's when we hit price discovery. You see the things in Bitcoin these last about 2 weeks, the way that Bitcoin has just been falling and falling and all that. Now, I haven't checked the Bitcoin dominance, but I would assume that the Bitcoin dominance has been falling as well. So it's kind of like people are stacking up lots of fiat currency, or like stable coins, I should say, and getting ready to pump that into the altcoins and actually have that big push where we can see this big jump in XRP, in Ethereum and tokens like that. Ethereum's been kind of a little wonky. But then also, when we last had our major pump with XRP, which was at this time last year, and then at like January of this year, that was where we were at with Uranus in Taurus there. And so as Uranus like comes back into Taurus here, it's been a little weird because you've got the investors that were really liking like the Gemini energy leaving, and then all of a sudden like there's just that like Taurus energy, that foundation underneath. it, you know, like that's really supporting it right now. I would just be shocked if we didn't see another huge thing, and especially with the Gemini new moon here, because that was the last time that we were even like doing well. It's been blood like in the streets of the crypto market since the Gemini new moon, and now we're in the Gemini full
So
moon. So
that
there is
was
something like,
was the Gemini new moon like May 25th of this year? It was
mhm.
the end of May. Gemini new moon is when I actually started Quick Hits Tarot readings
Oh wow,
every day. Yep. And so this is
that's
my
so
six
cool.
month anniversary, I guess. It's my half birthday. It's Quick Hits Tarot's half birthday.
Well, and it's
So
like there is this weird like completion coming around of stuff from that new moon energy in Gemini. Like now that we're at the full moon, there's an awareness around stuff you were doing at that time. There's like a completion or a leveling up, you know? And that was something I want to bring. There is something about that with your quick hits I want to bring up, but I should stay on topic or we'll kind of go all over. But remind me.
that's very
Um, um,
Gemini. That's very Gemini of us.
yeah,
Go
yeah. But yeah, like, and I'm almost viewing it like the next 6 months as we go to the Gemini new moon is where we're going to see a lot of stuff in the market play out. And part of that is going to be a huge pump, it feels like to me. Just looking at everything, all the metrics are there and everything. There's massive fear in the markets right now. So this is like where all of a sudden money starts to get dumped in. And then retail investors start to pile on. And that's where like the Sagittarian energy comes in, I was talking about, where retail investors pile on. Of course, now all of this is going to be tied to the moon cycles, how the moon's going to be aspecting things, especially things like Uranus, like Saturn, like Mercury, you know. And I would even say we may see a peak for XRP. XRP historically does very well in Mercury retrograde, actually, which is really interesting. Because usually, like, it's not always like not all coins are like that, but XRP specifically does well during Mercury retrogrades, and of course, like new moons, like we were talking about. Uh, and I think like we're gonna see in the next Mercury retrograde is really like the end of the crypto cycle, but it also will be our peak too. I'm thinking. Like I think we
Well,
start to
and
get some sentiment back, but go ahead.
with that Gemini new moon, that's going to be the first new moon again that both Gemini or both the sun and the moon and Uranus are all in Gemini together
Oh wow.
since the
Damn, that's really
last,
good to know.
yeah, because what Uranus is going into Gemini like April 25th, I want to say. So by the time that Gemini new
Yeah.
moon comes about, then Uranus is going to be right uh coming along,
Yeah, it's
kind of
like locking
kind of
in
get
the new stuff.
warmed back up and back into the Uranus is coming back to the neighborhood, basically rustling up all the cousins and all the
And who
brother
knows, like if
cousins.
XRP is going to be a part of that? I know at least some ISO 222 token, like one of them, will definitely reign supreme at some point. But we have like let's just look at, and this is why I love that. Like I'm a mundane astrologer because I can add to what you're saying there with the Saturn, Neptune, and in Aries, like it conjoining at that 0 point. Like I think that's where we're really going to see a need for a new financial system. And then the last time that Neptune was in Aries was the Civil War, and then we had the kind of the same things monetarily that are going on now. And the thing that would proceed this, that would come after all of this, that would, if you're following the track of what happened during the Civil War, is that currency wars will start to happen. And so, like the ones that are the best contenders right now in the currency war that's going to happen is like XRP and the ISO 222 tokens. So you've got other tokens like Stronghold, like ADA. I could go on and on. There's quite a few of them at this point, but I really think that that's where we really see people starting to like get that, like put that big money into these, and then these bigger sellers who are coming in while there's fear right now, that's when they sell. That's when people are starting to think they've lost all their money. But then and then that's where you really just have it getting funky and messing with people's head because they're not traders. They're not used to these huge dips and huge gains in the crypto market that we usually have. But ultimately long term, the crypto tokens are like what's gonna, like, if you just buy them and then wait 5 years, I just think it's going to perform extremely well. It's more about the volatility that comes with it, because cryptocurrency itself is ruled by Uranus. You know, it's going to be in Gemini. It's not going to be on that stable footing where we saw amazing gains in the crypto market. We saw 2 bull runs during the whole time Uranus was in Taurus. So I just think we're going to see a totally different vibe.
Two
Dude,
bull
wow.
runs while Uranus is in Taurus. With Uranus in Gemini, I think we'll see, you know, 2 things that do really well at the same time. 2 things
Yeah.
that diametrically oppose each other. You know, Christine Mose had asked earlier about silver, to bring the conversation to commodities for a second, and also to currency. Silver, intuitively, my answer to that question is that silver is known as the devil's metal. And I feel like silver is down right now. Let me see. Silver's down right now. I will let you know how much in just a second. I do not want silver. Gold is down. Up, soybean just went down a little bit. Up, silver just went up. All right. Well, the end
The
of
thing
market, it's the
with
end of the
silver
day,
and
or
gold.
it was the end of the day. But I think that silver is going to do well. Oh, shit. What is going on here? You guys can like see our faces, right? People can like see our faces, I hope.
Yeah,
I think that
you should be able to.
I think silver's gonna do well in January during Capricorn season, especially with the Neptune kind of tickling into the Aries location. I think that
Yeah.
right now in Sagittarius season, another intuitive, this is just intuition, this is not financial advice, this is just me just
Oh yeah,
riffing,
we're not financial
okay?
advisors.
But like you were saying now, that people are feeling Sagittarian, people are feeling fiery, people are feeling optimistic, people want to want to pump a little bit more. And I think a lot of smart investors are probably taking the month off for a holiday, because there's just a lot going on, and at the end of the day, when you come back, everything's going to be right where you left it. Like, I think that there's a lot of like bells and whistles and hoots and hollers and action, but I think that in January is when things are actually really going to start to take a stronghold. And then I think that by Aries season, really things are going to start to become a little bit more lively and robust. But I was thinking, I noticed that cotton was down, and if it stays down from now until the Sagittarius new moon, I think that that investment is really going to pay off like in the springtime, come Aries season, when the sheep are growing their wool and
Yeah,
things start
that
to
makes a lot of
become
sense.
like, or
Yeah.
I mean, you could, I don't know. I don't know. You could
Well, and
just
I really agree with
maybe
kind of the vibe
maybe by
you're
Libra
throwing
season
down.
next year. Hmm?
Oh yeah, I agree with the vibe you're throwing down though, because it's really like that's January is that tricky time that I'm looking at, and it's like I think some things are going to do really well, and this can extend out into like February and all that stuff. But it's like some things will do well, some things like won't do well, and it's like this whole shifting. Like this is really there's all of it's going to be chaotic. And like you're saying with smart investors, like I consider myself a pretty smart investor considering how much I made in XRP, but like like I really am just, I have my moon bag that I've talked about. Like I've already gotten well like many times more than I invested in. And I just have still left that in case like it continues to go up and everything, which I believe it will. And but like I'm just not touching anything right now. Like that's really where I'm at right now. But I think this is also, as we're both talking about, this is the time where like new people feel like because there's not a lot of action, it's a good time to get in. And so this is kind of going back to what I said before, as like there is this like, even though there's a lot of fear in the market still, almost this stabilization that comes. And then it's almost like the Fed would introduce something like a rate cut that would really get retail excited about investing and stuff. And then you see like there's a weird like type of flashpoint January and then like March, you know, like February into March there. And then down in like April, when you got Uranus moving back into Gemini, there's these weird flashpoints where it ultimately seems like it's going to bifurcate the economy in weird ways. And this kind of just brings me back to silver and gold and everything like that. Why I like ultimately think that these are going to do really well. I think that the amount of manipulation you've seen in so many of these markets by the huge firms is going to create this situation where there's like some type of switch that is flipped, and then they just pull everything and they know exactly what to funnel it into. And that's what I worry about. That's what has me skittish about having like money in these markets with the volatility that's just like coming up, that's going to exist. And it's like that one thing, that weird thing, or like two things really, like we're talking about, that will
Yes.
just be like a good investment that weathers the storm. But if you don't have your money in that before it happens, you're buying something that's completely overvalued and is going to be sold. So it's like this weird thing with how the money's, it's really going to be like two parallel economies, because you're going to have things that soar while everything else
Oh,
crashes. People will sell, and then the things that have crashed they'll buy for pennies on the dollar. And then like those things, it's just these, and it will really create two parallel economies and the currency wars that we're talking about. So I hate to dig into all that. Hopefully that wasn't too much for people, but
it really matches up really well with what Christine Mose is saying in chat here, manipulating the silver market. As they said, they had a computer glitch and shut down the silver trading for 10 hours. And that can also be related to
yeah,
those data center glitches. Because like if we're thinking about, you know, futures and indexes and things like that that are going to be disrupted over, I mean, these could be potentially well, there's usually some sort of disruption and some sort of tomfoolery to pull the market a certain way or not. But like you were talking last episode about the devaluation of the currency in general and needing to have things backed by gold and silver. Gold and silver are never going to go out of style
yeah, oh
ever.
yeah,
The aliens are going to need it. They're never going to stop needing it. They might stop needing
yeah.
us, but they're never going
A
to stop
complicated
needing.
thing is like I do think we'll actually will move to a standard like that to make people feel better. But if it's off of a digital currency that so dilutes the supply of gold and silver to where it's like literally they're counting by atoms or by molecules, like of these things. I guess it would be atoms for gold and silver, but like if they're counting in that like those minuscule amounts, it's essentially might as well be a fiat currency. That's what worries me. And Joseph P. Farrell, like he's like one of my favorite scholars, an Oxford scholar. He actually talks about this too, because he's a great Civil War scholar. I've been really revisiting his work a lot, just like to get a layout of the Civil War and the economics behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he really brings this up. I just want to give him credit for that. But I really think that's where it gets to be an issue. And I think it was down in Florida, if I remember right. Like they started, it was one of those southern states. So don't quote me. It may not be Florida, but they started to put legislation through recently to have like gold and silver backed currency and put that on the books. But it ended up being that same technicality where it was just like flex of it that you were essentially getting, and it just like makes it barely better than a fiat currency. And that's really what has us in this situation, is the
Yeah.
fiat currency.
I think that it's going to be the same but different. Just like with Pluto moving into Aquarius, with Uranus going back into Gemini, with Pluto in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus, we're dealing with the earth energy. We're dealing with this sort of fiat currency in actual paper bills that we can touch and feel, and coins that run through the coin machine at the casino. Now I think we're gonna have the same old shit, but just a different venue. Now it's gonna be, in the ethers. It's gonna be online. It's gonna be in crypto. It's gonna be in atoms of gold instead of actually ducats of gold,
Mhm.
And where is all this freaking gold anyway? And who is, I mean, where is it? I know that they're
Yeah.
reopening mines all across the United States.
Yeah, I know. And I would even say, like, you can talk about Fort Knox and like what was the weird thing that happened there? They said they were going to audit Fort Knox. The whole area flooded, and now like all of a sudden we're not going to Fort Knox anymore. But there was something there was something Jillian said here. I don't want to like lose track of it. The Cloudflare shutdown was huge. It set a lot of systems back. That was my big thing, and I posted about this too. But I was like, this is like a shutdown they're doing, getting ready to like clamp down on information and like in some future event. And I even want to tie this to the full moon in Gemini and all that. But they're really getting ready for something there, because I've noticed that we get these shutdowns before major event, like major news gets dropped, and then it also seems to be tied to the economy as well. So and all of these things are so interconnected because of the new control grid they're bringing in. And then we're talking about gold. Well, the control grid they're bringing in is going to be, tied to the golden dome. We're always talking about the golden age. And I keep seeing these weird synchronicities with the golden age too in my personal life. I won't even like get into, but it's like, I always say really quick, I rewatched a bunch of stuff during Mercury retrograde, and everything I rewatched had a reference to the golden age. It was really weird. I don't usually watch media, so like I just went back and watched some shows that I like, and yeah,
When
Golden
we
Age kept coming up.
when we check on the new moon in Sagittarius, if God willing, we need to pull up Apollo and see where he's playing around in the chart.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me take a look here. Not at the
Oh,
chart right
yeah,
there, because
let me
I
put
can't get
your
Apollo up, but you could.
I'm gonna what is your hold on. Can you put your link in the chat? Or wait, I can do it.
Yeah,
This is how
and it,
to this is how to get a
okay.
hold of RAFFi. He is on YouTube at Night's Light, at the same as his handle in the chat, but he's more active on X.
Yeah, and then I'm in a year 9, just so you guys know. So I've been holding off on uploading videos on my own personal channel, but you can expect to see videos from me at the beginning of, this coming year and at the beginning of
Oh,
2026.
that's
So I
awesome
wanted
to
to wait until,
hear.
yeah, I
I
was like, I
love
can set up
hearing
like the
that.
foundation, be a guest on people's show and stuff like that for this year. But then once I get into next year, then I'll actually be producing my own content. I'll be consistent with it and everything. But
I love that. I absolutely
and
love
this kind
that.
of
I
gives
have
me a good idea to figure out what people respond to, what my niche is going to be, and all that.
I'm on the FAFO plan over here. I'm just effing around and finding out, like minute by minute. Like you just see me displaying Gemini behavior like this whole time. I'm super ADD and I'm just smacking up pictures of charts and people and just whatever's been coming across my life. Like, oh, caramba. But
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think
Well, I
that
need more of that
generally
energy too, so it's perfect. Like I really, because I've got such a slow Mercury, you know,
Oh.
with that. Like, and you're very mercurial, because I've got that. Like I make up for it with my Mercury conjunct my Sun, so it does like kind of supercharge it and everything like that. But at the same time, it's in Taurus. It's very slow. It's in the ninth house, so I love to learn things, but it's just like I need people who are kind of like going off doing weird things and like trying new things and all that, because the Taurus stuff doesn't want to change or anything, you know. It wants to like stay like, oh, I'm going to research these things every day and do the same type of thing. So, and it gets back to what you're talking about with that South Node. With when all of a sudden I have that release, I let things go, I try new things, and that's when all the lucky stuff comes in. That's when all the fortune comes in.
Yeah, I have a Taurus moon, you know, so I get emotionally pretty stubborn and slow about things. Like I'm slow to warm up to things, I'm slow to cool down off of things. I'm I get that Taurus vibe. I get what you mean. Like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
The
my
other Taurus moon I
Mercury.
know is like that too. It's like that's a good part of it to know about the Taurus moon.
Mhm. Yeah, like they're slow to warm up, but they're also slow to cool down. So I love Taurus vibes and I love slow and steady. I love slow and steady and I love how Taurus like works so hard, you know. I really love
Yeah.
Taurus dedication and just sticking to the ground. I think we need a lot of that during this moon. Um
Yeah, I
I'm
like the
just gonna
willpower it gives me. The with the sun conjunct Mercury there, it gives me
yeah,
insane willpower
yes,
to like stop
absolutely.
drinking, you know, for the time that I stop drinking, and then, you know, be okay and everything, and not like be craving it, but then like now in a position where I can do that. Like that's just kind of one of the things, probably because it's opposing Pluto, but like there that's, you know, like one of the examples of the willpower it gives.
I want to put us. Is there any other
I was gonna
aspects coming up that you wanted to talk about financially, socially, culturally, or things that you've noticed in the moon? And especially looking forward from this full moon to the new moon in Sagittarius.
yeah, let me get this open here. I'll pull that up. Because there was, I mean, I actually I wrote some stuff down because I knew I'd forget. I'd be on the spot and I would totally forget here. Oh, with that Sabian symbol, the first one I did. So I'll pull this up again really quick. And then people, we already read this, but I'll just read like the bold part of it. Two people at widely different points are in conversation with each other by means of telepathy. And I really like, you know how much I tied this to the Uranus stuff, that the predictions that I have. But there's a part of this that, like, when you're thinking of telepathy, there is like that connection without needing to talk and all that, and it goes into that in here as well, like down in here. But there's this lonely feeling that we have been feeling lifting. You know, after when we had all five planets retrograde there, that was the thing, is everyone was talking about how lonely they felt and how lonely they were and everything. Like there was like this alienation feeling too that came along with it. And I feel like there's like that kind of that alien energy from Uranus that contributes to that for sure. But I definitely feel like this Sabian symbol talks about how with a Gemini full moon, it dealing with other people, you know, also the energy of that loneliness is really lifting. And it's like, who are you going to be connecting with? Because I have that whole Sabian symbol we're under now. We just moved under it December 1st. With Uranus, it's like the two cobblers working side by side, like in merriment and all that stuff. It's like we're kind of finding our soul tribe, we're finding our people. That's like the big thing to look out for, especially as we move into all this Sagittarian energy. Mars is leading the pack on all of this. And I even was looking at the chart here. Let me go back to the chart,
The
because
two
when
cobblers side by side can also be us unifying the dualistic aspects within ourselves, you know what I mean? Like on the moon
oh
card
yeah,
where you see the dog and the wolf, or in Gemini energy where you have like the two sides of the mirror. You know, those two cobblers working side by side can also be us like kind of unifying aspects, or finding a buddy within ourselves too, within that
yeah, yeah,
loneliness, within that isolation, you know. And when you
I love
are
that.
isolated and lonely, then you do start to see other sides of yourself, you know? I'm gonna start shuffling up some cards right here. I
Oh
always forget
yeah,
I
that was
always forget that
actually
I'm a tarot card reader. But I already did a live with the tarot. So if anybody's interested in tarot stuff, like go ahead and click on that live that I just did a couple days ago. The cards were popping. Pulled all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
Speaking of,
only thing I'll say is yeah, like with the reason I'm looking at Mars in particular is because with like where the moon is, so that like, you know, that's ruling that it's in Gemini. So then you like with a dispositor, you would take that over here back to Mercury. And then with Mercury, like we're not really going to go back to Pluto. Like we'll go more to like we can and stuff, but I like to use the traditional astrology, especially for something like this, like dispositors. So really, you would just move to Mars at that point, as Mars being the ruler in traditional astrology of Mercury, and it's just like it's out here leading the pack, like with all this stuff coming behind it. And it
mm-hmm.
really is just like what are we picking up along the way? Like first is the action, and then all the stuff is like coming after it too. And eventually, we're going to have Venus cross the Sun as well, which is going to be interesting. Like that I'm really looking at, and that should just be in like the next couple days. Let me like see here. Oh
I
gosh, I'm like
see
hitting the wrong thing.
Mars is like cutting the path through the jungle out to the savannah, and the fire is coming through. It's cutting a path for the fire to be
I
a
like that.
controlled
Yeah,
to be a controlled burn, you know, and to not just like take over the whole, you know, but like yeah, Mars has got to cut a path in order for us to have a controlled burn.
that makes so
Have you
much sense. Yeah.
yeah.
And I've really been just like looking at because then we just get all these planets lining up, and then they're all going to start lining up in Capricorn, then Aquarius, then in Pisces, and that's where it just gets wild. But it's like we're at some type of, you know, we talked about the release, but there's almost like an initiation that we're in right
I think
now, and we're just
Capricorn
getting
season.
ready.
Yeah, Capricorn season's gonna low key be lit. Like, I'm serious. I think that there's going to be a lot of symbolism and returning back to stories from before, and I think that people are gonna be able to capitalize on those. Like,
And Mercury is just trailing so far behind for so long, for so many weeks after this retrograde here. It's like we're not even gonna know what hit us with the things, you know, like we said, Mars is leading the pack on all this stuff, and then like it's even it might not what I wonder, does it get to oh, okay, cool. So right as the sun is gonna pass it, or not the sun, I'm sorry. Yeah, the sun's gonna pass Mars, Venus is gonna pass the sun, and then like we're gonna have all these things cross Pluto, and we this is like our new Pluto. It's really interesting.
and that's right around the same time that Neptune's moving into Aries, the 13th
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
January.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it's like everything is leading us up to this initiation. And I think the last thing I'll
Yeah.
say, just to like summarize it, is really like you're saying with the path being cut for us and everything, like it's going to be hard for us, especially with the South Node in Virgo, to really like fully understand and know what's happening. These things will just kind of happen in our lives that are leading us to this new place and this new world that we're all just preparing for, getting ready for, and like getting all the ducks in a row. And they won't even make the things won't even make sense to us, especially once we get into that like the lineup with all the Pisces stuff, you know, like, and that would really be like past that point of the new world, like that's in February, like yeah, because it'll still take a while for everything to really get in there. So March is looking really interesting.
Well, we're literally releasing the Earth in Virgo. We're literally releasing Earth in Virgo. And I think that once we release our need for things on Earth to be the way that we think they should be, or the way that we are used to them being, um, yeah, I think that during Capricorn season, that Earth, it's gonna be lit, man. He's Saturn's like sitting there, you know, doing low key like you know what I just thought of? I just had a vision of that stupid commercial that comes up like before you watch a YouTube video, that dumbass commercial that comes up that's like, how does my dad go from being a beer gut to ripped again? And then the guy's like, Tai Chi. But it's almost like Saturn sitting there in Pisces, like low key doing his Tai Chi, you know, with
I love
Neptune,
that.
just sort of like kind of like finding some stability to this like wave patterns and fog and getting into that earth. And then once Aries season hits, like dad's gonna be lit. Dad's gonna be ripped. Dad's gonna be ready to go.
Oh
Dad's
yeah.
gonna be
Oh yeah.
given spankings. Dad's gonna be in shape, and dad's gonna be maybe a little bit more like ruthless, even. I don't know. I don't know, man. What did you think when Saturn was in Aries just now, just recently here?
I loved it. I loved Saturn and Aries. I was getting really violent dreams, but I liked it. It's the weirdest thing. Like just dreams where like shit hits the fan so fast and like dealing with like lots of blood and stuff like that. But like I was totally in my element. And I'm like, not you kind of know the kind of person I am. I'm not like that. So it was like really weird, but I was in my element and like navigating it well. It's less to do with like the blood stuff and more to do because there's like the Aries part of blood, but then like some people will say like Saturn rules the blood, but Saturn Aries. So I feel like that was really coming through for me. But the thing was the chaos that was happening and unfolding both in the world and in my dreams. Like I just navigate it so well. And then like I'm really like, well, it's been in Pisces is where I've been like chomping at the bit and just like, okay, like we need something to happen. Like I need some change in the world now, like, and
No,
I'm a Pluto Scorpio, so it's like I literally came here
no,
to burn shit down. Like
no. Ah, change. No. Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's a tough one. Like I never want to seem like I'm someone who wants people to be hurt or anything like that, but it's like I don't know how people expect that we're going to get into the new world without there being pain and suffering first. It's going to be like going through the fires of Scorpio.
Yeah.
Like these
That's
scorpionic fires rather are like transforming.
that's yeah. Yeah. I gotta
Uh,
say, I didn't mind Saturn or Neptune dipping into I like Pisces vibes, I like Pisces vibes, and I like Saturn being there giving some structure to my Pisces vibes. But we'll see. I mean, Saturn and Aries, that's also it. I don't like any energy that's like too active. I just don't. Like, I like water, I like floating, and I like air. I like breezes, gentle breezes.
oh yeah. Yeah, it's like
I
I actually like I like air and fire.
mm,
That's what I really like. Like
mm.
especially when they're in combination together. It's like I gravitate towards like air and fire signs for sure.
Yeah, I love fire signs, probably because they actually get me, I blow on them and they they keep me warm. For sure.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
know you're probably gonna pull some cards here. I can't see the screen
Oh
or
no,
anything.
I wasn't even I just was sort of like,
You were just shuffling. Okay, I hadn't
yeah,
like
I was
looked at the
just kind of like,
Streamyard
I
yet
just
because I'm
felt
still
bad. I honestly just like felt bad for the cards. Like they were just sitting here like, hey guys, what about
because
me?
I
But
pulled
yeah,
some cards
you
before we
did?
got on, and so
Oh
I
my
wanted to. I
gosh,
have
show
them
and
next to me to
tell.
to show you.
Show and
But
tell.
let me just read this last thing and then I'll show you. Okay, because then we kind of
Oh
have
yeah,
this
yeah,
out of the
yeah.
way. This last symbol. This symbol we already went over.
Well, I
Um.
also wanted to point out something on here though too with the Gemini 14.
Oh yeah.
This is the two people at widely different points are in conversation with each other by means of telepathy. What was really interesting here was the last sentence, blocking out psychic awareness because of fear, manipulating others by subtle means, mind and thought control, feeling very separated by time and space. I just wanted to reiterate that because that's so what we were talking about.
Yeah,
So
and I wrote down a note regarding that too. I wrote down moon opposing sun. Obviously, it's a full moon. With telepathy and that idea of it, and then like Sagittarius being the higher mind. I thought that was just kind of an interesting thing to add in there. I had wrote it down, so I might as well say it right. But I always thought of like Sagittarius is like the higher mind, and then like Uranus. There's like this weird thing with Uranus too, with like the kind of more like etheric higher mind, and then of course like Mercury itself or Gemini like is the mind.
Yeah.
That's always the way I've kind of thought of it. But yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just
No, that
interesting.
makes
And then
sense to me.
even with it ruling faith too, and we were talking about possession and stuff in relation to the
Yes.
Sabian symbol. That's also interesting.
Exactly. See, this is how I'm getting into the like at first I was like Sabian symbols, dude, I don't know about this. I said, who's channeling what? They got some child, some teenager up here channeling some what the fuck? I said I'll stick to the numbers and the angles. Thank you very much. But now that I'm getting more woo-woo, I mean, hello, like now I'm becoming more open to like channeling inform or open to the fact that like the information is somewhere, like, and it's accessed by people in very different ways. And
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they hit so hard. They hit so hard. So what was the next one that you were gonna, or what were you saying? Did I cut you off?
Uh, yeah, let me do this one really quick here. I'll keep the chat up. And then so this is like really the degree that we're under now. We might have even moved past this degree at this point. Like we've been talking long enough to where we might have moved back. I think we're still in 14 degrees. So we do Gemini 15 just to remind people, because you're adding 1 degree, because 0 degrees is Sabian symbol 1. So just so everyone knows there. Two Dutch children talking and studying their lessons together. This symbol shows that you should be able to feel relaxed and comfortable with friends and able to speak your own truth. There's a need for clarity and for those of like mind to communicate spontaneous and creative ideas with each other. Feeling cut off and isolated because your beliefs or language are different from other people can propel you to finding those you can share your thoughts or your studies with. There is usually, or should be, at least one person around you who can give you advice or lend you an ear when you need to express yourself in your own unique way to someone who understands. Sharing innocent and carefree thoughts and ideals, exchanging views with like minded individuals, finding a soulmate, chit chatting about everyday life, talking for hours, failing to communicate, taking an unsophisticated viewpoint, excluding others as not worthy, societal or racial prejudice, hearing voices that don't make sense. That's incredible.
Good
I
golly.
There's a lot of Sagittarian energy in that too. And then even just the stuff we said, like the moon opposing sun with the higher mind, really just ties into that. So I
That
always think it's useful with like something moving as fast as the moon, like to kind of grab a couple degrees of the Sabian symbol, or if you're looking over like a long transit, like I did for Uranus over the next like 8 months, then like looking at those actual symbols, at multiple
you
symbols.
you are so right. Y'all are so right about this. I've been wrong for so many years, and now I'm now I'm finally getting right with my with myself.
Well, maybe I'll turn you on to step astrology. It's kind of like the Sabian symbol. It's like the step. I don't know if they're called symbols or not. I was getting ready to unveil that. Maybe I'll do that on our new moon or something, because that would be a
Well,
new moon in Sag. It's kind of perfect time to unveil new knowledge, right?
I've been following Christopher Witecki since like '09 or
Okay, because I knew it was like pretty
yeah,
popular. I didn't know anyone who was doing it.
he
So
Christopher Witecki is pretty much he is a colleague of the Leo King. And back in the day, he used to have a show called Soul Garden on YouTube, and now it turned into like Namaste Today, and I think now it's called Serious Joy TV or something, but he still does like a weekly kind of horoscope. But yeah, I think that he was one of the progenitors of the step astrology system, if I'm correct. And
yeah,
yeah,
I saw his name coming up, and that was the
yeah,
second time I heard his name, because the person when I was in Dallas, there was another astrologer. She's got a channel too, but I can't remember her name.
oh, it's
Um,
Kristen Ryder.
yes, she's
And you know
amazing.
what?
Oh my God.
She's gonna do a pop-up tarot tomorrow. So she learned step astrology from Christopher Witecki.
Yeah, okay, because she was telling me about it. She was like, "Get into it," and then I like put it on the back burner for
Yeah.
a bit, and then I started researching it a little bit like these last few weeks, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, like I'm gonna actually start to implement this and the
Yeah,
Sabian symbols,
it's
especially as a mundane astrologer. Like it's really useful."
exactly. You should find his channel. It's Serious Joy TV. Here, I'll find it. Serious Joy. He has a lot of videos about each step. And Josie's been
Oh,
talking
sweet.
with cats. Oh my gosh. Um, but yeah, he has a lot of videos on the steps and on step astrology on Serious Joy TV. Or you can just look up Christopher Witecki on YouTube and it'll come up. Let's just see if
Nice.
there's one little card that wants to pop for us today. Do you have any closing thoughts or any must
Uh,
says before we say
no.
bye-bye?
I'm gonna I'll just stop sharing my screen here. And really, like, all I had left was to show you the cards that I pulled. So whichever one you want to
Oh
do
yeah, show
first.
us, show us, show us. I'm gonna shuffle while you
Okay.
show.
I thought you'd find these to be really interesting too. And I always love your reads on them because like I'm still so beginner at tarot.
I'm so like
All
attention
right.
deficit. I'm sorry.
So I did three of them, two on the bottom, one on top. So I'll show you the one I have on. Well, I'll show you the two on the bottom first, actually.
I'm like so excited. Okay, you got
Justice.
Justice.
Hmm.
Gorgeous. Beautiful. You got
Knight of
Knight of
Swords.
Swords, of course.
And it's just I can't even believe I got this on the top.
The Moon. Well, there you go. There you freaking go. I mean, there you pulled the cards this time. Right. I think that pretty much says it all. That pretty much
Right,
says it
right.
all.
Well, and I was
Justice,
like
Libra
going
energy.
like, yeah, yeah. And it's like kind of how I said people were coming back into my life and stuff like that. And it's like the way in which they're coming back in my life, I can like I'm in this position to where like I get to and I have to be like righteous about it, like not be too I can't abuse it, but there is like kind of this justice I'm expending to people and all
Well,
that. It's just kind of like,
and the Knight of Swords is rushing in with that Martian energy, that sword, that Mars, that the Knight of Swords is Gemini energy, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius energy. You pull a Libra card. The Justice card is going to be a reverberation throughout time, that reverberation of bringing balance to karmic situations, karmic relationships, or greater karma that we're all dealing with collectively. A lot of times I see the Justice card as being like overarching karmic repercussions that we might also be getting swept up into, like whether we did it or not. We might just get swept into this wave of justice. With the Knight of Swords, though, that could be you. That could be you, like coming in with that could be somebody coming in quickly into your life. That could be just information being expressed with a quickness and a sharpness. And then with the Moon card, obviously, that's that duality again, like we were talking about with the wolf
yeah,
and the dog, and having to balance those two sides in order to reach the best of our intuition. Like, we can't reach the best of our intuition. We can't rely on the moon unless we're grounded enough, right? Yeah, we can't rely on the intuition and the things that come up from the depths too, because on that card you can also see that lobster crawling out from the depths, and that could be Mercury going into those waters of Scorpio and bringing back like the ickies for everybody to see. And so
yeah.
depending on how deep that goes in people's personal lives, like I definitely think that all three of those cards hit. Let's just see what's at the bottom of the deck here. Oh, Five of Pentacles. I pulled that card. I shuffled, but
Oh,
I also
wow.
pulled that card this morning. So the Five of Pentacles is two characters in the front of the card. This is that Capricorn energy. This is being out in the cold. This is being, you know, cold earth, snowy. I think that this is just a reflection of the weather, honestly, right now, and reminding people to like not let themselves be so fixated on where they're going that if they see warmth somewhere, they got to tell their buddy like, "Hey, it's warmer over here. We need to be spiritually fulfilled and grounded and protected." I think this is also a card of remembering to go in where you find spiritual protection and lean into that groundedness. Because Five of Pentacles
Yeah.
can be like a fear, a money fear. It can be people like having poverty consciousness, thinking that since they've been poor their whole lives, that they're going to be poor their whole lives, stuff like that. Five of Pentacles is kind of, fives in general are just not easy numbers, I don't think, to deal with.
That makes sense when I look back at when I pulled a Five of Pentacles, because I always like was kind of like, oh gosh, like what am I gonna have to sacrifice? What am I gonna go without? You know, but I love that you added that extra context to it because that makes so much sense now.
Well, it must want to talk because I shuffled, so as I always do. So I guess Five of Pentacles is just us, you know, being sure to look up, being sure to look side to side, being sure to be aware of where our spiritual fulfillment is available to us. Why is this video on here? Chance's home world. Oh, wait. Oh, crap. I'm just trying to be in the chat for a second and say bye to people. I think we could probably wrap it up for today. Really appreciate you as a human being, as a brain, as a Saturnian yet refreshing figure in my life. You're Saturnian in my life because you help me keep the time. You know, I initially only wanted to do these like every new moon, which is interesting too, because the new moon cycles fall on this new financial bone that I've gotten in my mouth, you know, the
Oh
financial
yeah.
astrology bone. And so the new moon cycles like set off those financial cycles as well, right? So I only wanted to do this on the new moon. And then we were talking and we were like, well, when the full moon comes around, it's like, all right, you know what? You're helping me keep the time, Saturn. You're helping me keep the time. You're helping
Oh,
me,
sweet.
you know, and you're helping me show up and put my face in front of the camera a little bit more and practice doing this a little bit more. And I don't always have to be like chat, chat, chat. Like sometimes I can share this way too. So I don't know. Hopefully
Yeah, yeah.
people, thank you very much for everybody that is here. Thank you, Dr. Strange Doom. I appreciate you being here. Josie, Jackie, Jillian, Rachel, um, Christine and Randy and Janine and I saw Green-Eyed Crow was here before. Of course, our buddy Steve. I don't know. I can't scroll that far back, but I love you, RAFFi, and
And I wanted to say thank you as well because it's like the play off of our energies is so good. I'm like it's kind of how I talked about like that earthiness that I hold and stuff, and it's like it's interesting because like I'm bringing like that time aspect and keeping time to you, and you know that is something I'm really good at. But then for you, like just being creative, throwing ideas out there for consideration, so like I have a direction to go with it because it's like I have such a knowledge base. Like if an idea is thrown out there I can go a lot of places with it, and like that's what I like. And you otherwise, it's like I just get really stuck, you know. And I move so slow. It's like my Saturnian and Taurus stuff, you know.
well, all I
Well, I
am,
really value that from you.
I'm just a ball of intuition, and sometimes it hits and
Hmm.
sometimes I'm wrong, you know, but I don't know. I know what I
Yeah, and
feel
I
and I
love what
know what I
comes
see.
through.
Yeah, I know what I feel and I know what I see. And I know what, and it's not even so much what I see, but like I say, like the stuff that comes across my desk or the stuff that comes into my life that I just think is weird and interesting that kind of fits in this realm of this
Yeah.
vibe is what I just pretty much am going to smack up on the screen and then we can talk. I will
Yeah,
give
yeah,
you a
and it's just
topic.
like such a light like energy too, light, playful, soft. Like I love that too. And it's like you're saying with the intuition, like I'm more of like a mental intuition. So like when I feel the type of intuition you have, it's just like, oh, I love that. I need that. So it's great.
Well, thanks so much for working together. And we will end the stream for the people. And I might keep you here for a minute. I love you guys. I'm gonna put a hearts. I gotta put my hearts.
Oh yeah.
Um, gotta put those hearts. Life's not complete until I put the hearts in the chat. But thank you to everyone for giving us an opportunity to explore our skills a little bit further. And you can get a hold of Rafi there. You can get a hold of me here. And I just want everybody to know that my kink is questioning the fabric of reality itself.
That's amazing. I love Mulder and Scully.
They're my freaking heroes. All right. Bye, YouTube. I'm going to keep you, RAFFi.
Okay. Bye, guys.